Neighbors learned there are 5 registered sex offenders living in one home in their neighborhood and are outraged.
Sheriff's detectives are investigating a deadly stabbing they say began as a fight between 2 men.
A 1-year prison sentence to a cargo ship engineer who illegally dumped oil in the ocean.
The San Diego Humane Society is urging the governor to sign a bill limiting animal testing.
We're talking conservation at the net.
And meet the La Jolla man who turns the catch of the day into art.
And listen up, iPhone users. You can now erase a text after you've sent it. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
Frustration and worry grow in Lakeside tonight over a home that is housing a group of registered sex offenders in a family neighborhood. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. Neighbors say they checked the California Megan's Law website and were surprised to learn 5 sex offenders were living in that home. Some reached out to CBS 8 for answers as to why they weren't notified.
CBS 8's Abby Alford is working for you to find out if this is legal and what's being done to stop it.
According to Megan's Law, there are 5 registered sex offenders who live in this home. Neighbors say they're just finding out about this. There are families and kids who walk by this home all the time, and they had no idea and are outraged as to how this happened.
I'm so angry about this. It's not fair.
Lakeside neighbors are fuming after learning 5 registered sex offenders are living under this roof on Ceci Lane in Lakeside.
So yeah, I'm not really happy about this at all. I'm just really irritated.
Jeanette shares her frustration with her neighbor Erica, who's a mother.
Unsafe. I mean, I have a family that lives here. There's multiple kids that live around here. We feel like our kids can't go outside.
Neighbors say they didn't learn about this until they recently went to the Megan's Law website and found 5 registered sex offenders living in this home. We found convictions range from rape to sex offenses with a child under 14. Megan's Law federally requires law enforcement to post information about registered sex offenders.
What, we have to check Megan's Law all the time? Yeah. That's wrong, too.
Well, they got 5.
On Sunday, Lakeside neighbors held a rally to protest.
So the community of Lakeside is backing us up.
I wish I had more answers, but I don't.
So neighbors turned to CBS 8 for help. We called someone who's connected to the property.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
We texted and knocked on the door.
Hi, I'm Abby at Channel 8.
The man who answered said no comment and shut the door.
Is there anyone else here that can talk to us?
No one knew about it. Who approved it? I'd like to know who approved it because I'd certainly like to give them a piece of my mind.
We went to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, who says this home opened in July and falls under the state's specialized treatment for optimized programming called STOP, and says up to 6 people can legally live in a home, which is aimed to reduce recidivism.
So my staff is working on it as we speak.
We zoomed with Senator Brian Jones, who's working to find out how this happened and if the laws were followed.
The bottom line is we need to change the laws that allow this to happen in the first place.
Neighbors could not agree more.
We're not going to stop. We're not. The whole community is not going to stop.
I also spoke with a representative for County Supervisor Joel Anderson. He says in some cases they can get these homes shut down if there's any type of code violations, and we'll check to see if there's any inside this home. We will keep you updated. Working for you, I'm Abby Alford, CBS 8.
Thank you, Abby. And don't forget, here at CBS 8, we're working for you. If there's an issue you'd like us to look into, please email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Tonight, deputies are investigating a fight that left a man dead in Lemon Grove. It happened around 2 this morning at an apartment complex on Grove Street. When deputies arrived, they found a 51-year-old man in what they say was medical distress, but they didn't see any stab wounds or any indication he'd been shot. That man died at the scene. Deputies tell us he and a 32-year-old had gotten into a bad fight. The 32-year-old man was detained, and so far, no names have been released. A cargo ship engineer has been sentenced to 1 year in federal prison for intentionally dumping oil into the ocean. Cell phone video of the illegal activity was recorded by an anonymous crew member. As CBS 8's David Goffredson reports, the whistleblower is set to receive more than $500,000.
This cell phone video shows oil-contaminated bilge water being illegally pumped through a hose into a sewage tank. The oily water was then dumped into the ocean while the cargo ship, called the Longshore, was on the high seas. A whistleblower crew member on the ship recorded the video last year and turned it over to the U.S. Coast Guard when the longshore made port in San Diego. The ship's engineer, Dennis Plasabis, and the company managing the ship, New Trade Ship Management, based in this office building in Greece, pleaded guilty last month to falsifying records related to the oil dumping at sea. Last week, Plasabis was sentenced to a year in prison. He remains in San Diego, where he will self-surrender in 6 weeks. New Trade Ship Management was ordered to pay a $1.1 million fine. Half of that money, more than $500,000, will go to the whistleblower crew member who recorded the video and turned it over to authorities. The intentional discharge of unfiltered, oily bilge water accounts for 37% of worldwide ocean pollution, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Accidental spills from ships account for 12% of oil pollution. The motive for dumping the oil at sea is the shipping company avoids the expense of having to treat the pollution on board or offload the contaminated water when the ship comes back to port. In addition to that $1.1 million fine, New Trade is going to be on probation for 4 years. They'll have to foot the bill for audits and environmental inspections during that probationary period. Along the Embarcadero, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
All right, David, thanks. Another San Diego community is looking at banning the sale of flavored tobacco. Today, the mayor of Chula Vista called for a ban in her city. A city council vote on the proposed ban is scheduled for tomorrow. Supporters of the ban say this is about protecting kids from being targeted by tobacco companies. Opponents say it will hurt small businesses.
So why in the world is cotton candy and Fruity Tooty and strawberry flavor attracting our kids?
This is not going to solve the problem. Retailers are not the source for how kids get these products.
The sale of flavored tobacco is already banned in unincorporated parts of the county and a couple of other cities. If the Chula Vista City Council passes a ban, sales would be banned in the majority of the South Bay. Right now, California is battling its biggest wildfire of the season, but it's just one of about a dozen large fires currently burning here on the West Coast. Mark Strassman has the latest on the firefight.
The mosquito fire in the foothills of Sacramento has charred more than 70 square miles, and crews have only about 10% of it contained. The local sheriff's department reports nearly 6,000 homes remain threatened, and more than 11,000 people have been evacuated. Unmistakable, this fire's presence. It fills the sky with cataclysmic clouds of smoke that drift east. This time-lapse video shows smoke blanketing the city of Reno, Nevada. Major fires are also burning in Oregon and Washington State. The Bolt Creek fire is 65 miles east of Seattle, 0% contained.
We decided to evacuate, not because we thought the fire would come to us, but it would jump the highway and block us, and that we wouldn't be able to get out.
Cinders 3-4 inches were coming down burning, so we figured it was time to get out.
South of Portland, Oregon, officials have issued new evacuation orders for more than 3,000 residents. The Cedar Creek fire began August 1st and has burned more than 130 square miles. And in Southern California, powerful thunderstorms triggered flash floods. Police rescued a family of 3 swept off their feet in fast-moving waters on a street in San Bernardino. North of Los Angeles, bulldozers are clearing roads after a mudslide trapped about 50 people Sunday evening. But the rain also helped crews battling the Fairview fire southeast of the city. That fire destroyed at least 30 structures and killed 2 people. It's now 50% contained. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
It has been 21 years since the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, and San Diego State University is remembering the 2,977 lives lost on 9/11. The San Diego Fire Department rang that bell 21 times, once for each of the years that has passed since the attack on the World Trade Center. The memorial began with a moment of silence at 8:46 a.m., the moment the first plane hit the North Tower. Speakers promised to never forget that day.
Those who were not yet born September 11, 2021, can never know life before that day or its impact on our society since.
I will never forget a country and largely a world that came together as a unified team.
SDSU's Army ROTC laid out a flag for every victim yesterday.